Welcome to Modular Hippo, the channel where I'm trying to build a sailboat in my backyard. In this episode, I am connecting my two EU22i Honda compressors to my EG4 Chargeverter in the attempt to charge the battery bank, the Seplos 280. So let's see how that works out. As mentioned, I want to do a test where I run the two generators via the 230 volt switch panel, so I can output it into the EG4 Chargeverter and try to charge the battery pack just to see how it behaves. While I'm doing this, I'm probably also going to put together a PDF document so that I have something to look back at in a few months or years when I might be doing this, because I am forgetting things. So that PDF document might also be in good use for anyone else with a Chargeverter or a Seplos Mason 280 pack. When I built this box, I connected lights on the 230 volt outs and normal wall plugs on the 230 volts in, so I could test all these different rotary switches. When I now know that they work, I am going to replace one of the power in with the Chargeverter 4 power in. So one of the power outs will go into the Chargeverter 4 in. So I'm just going to take this plug off and then hardwire that into this box. So we now have the EG4 Chargeverter cable power in coming up here, going down there, going around, up through the gland, and ready to be installed to the rotary switch. So I put the earth on earth, and then you have live and neutral. So let's connect that. So this is the test cable I had, which is only a 15 amp cable, so we can't test with that. So I'm going to disconnect this one and connect this thicker Arctic blue cable instead, which can take a higher amperage. So let's give that a go. With the Chargeverter cable now connected to number 11 and number 7 on this rotary switch, I have the Chargeverter connected. So the next step will be to connect the power in coming in from the two generators. So let's do that. We now have the cable that's going to the generators, coming up here and going in on the side. The earth is going to the earth, and the neutral and the live is here. So I'm going to replace the plug that I have for the generators. So let's do that. Now replaced the plug from the generator that we tested with in a previous episode against port 11 and 7 on the top left rotary switch. So in theory, we should be able to set these switches to the generator, and then from generator to EG4, which is combination of 2200. So let's do that. The logic is now that we have generator in, which is the one that we just connected. So that's number 2. And we want to output it on EG4, which is also number 2 on the next one, and 00 follows for the two lower switches. So if everything correct, I should be able to run the generators. Power goes in, goes through the setup of the rotary switches. It outputs it to EG4, so we should see a couple of these pilot lights go on, and from that on it goes into the EG4, and then from the EG4 it's connected to the battery pack, the 48 volt battery pack. So let's give it a go. So I've configured the ECG so it's ready for the compressors. I have set the voltage to 54.8 instead of 57 because I want to charge my battery to 90% rather than charge it to the top level. There is an issue with that, and that is that the batteries active balancer won't be kicking in, but that is something I can do every 2 to 3 weeks. I top it up to full so that the active balancer can then balance the batteries. But for the longevity of the battery, it is better to stop at 90%. It doesn't get as hot and all the chemicals in the batteries stay much happier. I've also set it to 42 amp as max, because that should give me a wattage that is healthy for my generators. If I put the voltage and the current too high, I will run the generators on a RPM that is too high for it to sustain. So the numbers I've come up with is 54.8 and 42.0. Okay, so I've set up the Honda generators, and some interesting facts that I've looked into. Although the combined output is 4,400 watts, it's only for a couple of seconds when you start them up that it will peak on that to cater for any hungry tools you might be plugging in. After that, the maximum output goes down to 3,600 watts. So that's a bit of a difference. On the same concept, you don't really want to run them at 3,600 watts, because that means that the RPM is going to be on max and it's not going to be good for the generator. It's probably going to overheat at some point. So I am running these at far less. I think it's around 2,200 watts. And these are the parallel connection points. And once I start these up and run them for 2 minutes, this little light should go on, which indicates that they are synced in terms of the output voltage. That is the echo throttle, which will be on at all times, because once you set into echo throttle, it will then kind of surge up and down, trying to lock in with the charging output of the Chargeverter. So that is going to stay on echo off. Another interesting one is that although I have almost 6-7 meters of Arctic Blue cable, it doesn't interfere with the voltage, so I won't get any voltage drop, because that cable is sitting on the AC side before the current hits the actual Chargeverter, and the Chargeverter itself is clever enough to adjust and make sure that we get the output voltage to the battery that we have preset. So that's what makes the Chargeverter quite clever. So we follow this cable here. It now goes all the way up to the switch box. So once I've started it and run it for 2 minutes and confirmed that the two generators are synced, I will then set it to generator in and also to EG4 out. So that will be number 2 and number 2 and 00. That will send the current into the Chargeverter, and I will then be able to flick this to on, and we should be able to see a reading on the actual battery itself in terms of charging. And I think we will see that here as well. So let's give it a go. This is what I find so amazing with these Honda generators. Although they've been standing for a year, they started after 3-4 pulls, which is extremely reliable. There's a lot of diesel generators that have a lot of problems, and that's why I've gone with these petrol Honda EU22i's, because from my experience they're kind of bulletproof. So let's see how long it takes before it syncs up between the two. So it looks like the power output has already synchronized, but I'm going to leave it for another minute because it's recommended just to stabilize the outgoing current. And once that's done, we can then flick on the Chargeverter and see what happens with the battery. So this is the battery before I have switched anything on. So it says current 000 amp, and it's on a 84.8% state of charge. The package voltage is 53.36 volts. I put this one to the wrong setting. It should be 2 for the EG4. So now I can see that I have EG4 power out and I have generator power in. So we follow that. That has now automatically switched on the EG4. Current says 0, so I should be able to switch it on. And we should see some current. So it's just below 54 or on 54. It goes between, oh, it's stabilized now at 54. The amperage or the current is increasing. Let's see how far that goes up. So it stopped at 32 amp, which we can calculate and see what wattage that is. We multiply 54.7 with 32.1. Let's have a look. I'll show it on the screen. This is now the battery itself, so it's showing 30.7 amp charge input. So I guess we are losing 1.4 amps along all the cables and junctions and so on. And it's now on 85.1 state of charge, gone up to 85.2. So I guess in theory it looks great, it's working. So the final piece on these ones is to build 2 aluminium boxes that also have a extractor fan and are soundproof, because I want to stick these at the back of the boat, so something that is also protecting against weather and waves and water. And that is the final piece. What I also need to figure out is how these operate if they are leaning. Because if they don't like that, I know there's a lot of Honda engines that have a little sensor in, so if the machine isn't straight, it will cut out. If this one's had the same thing, I might have to put the actual generators on a pivot beam, so that if I am heaving with the boat, it will then kind of pull into a straight position, and then if I tack the other way, and it will then kind of go back into a straight position again, so they will be sitting on something. So if you have any ideas or any thoughts around that, feel free to put that in the comments. Thank you. A quick side note on the discrepancy between the manual set Chargeverter amperage of 42 amps and the actual charging amperage observed during the tests, 32 amp, which is 10 amp less. A 48 volt lithium iron phosphate battery reach 100% state of charge at a theoretical maximum of 58.4 volts. This is exactly 3.65 volts per cell. I set the Chargeverter to 54.8 in my last test and 42 amps, 54.8 volts. This is 93.84% of the 58.4 volts. In our test, it's charged at 32 amps. Reason: as the battery has reached 85.1% SOC, its internal resistance naturally rise, narrowing the voltage gap between the Chargeverter's output and the battery bank. The Chargeverter automatically throttles back the amperage to prevent the voltage from overshooting the 54.8 ceiling. If the battery had a lower SOC, for example 50%, the full 42 amp charge output would have been reached. Alternatively, if I had increased the target voltage to 58.4 with the aim of reaching 100% SOC, would also have removed the throttle. Note to self, if the SOC is low but you still see the amperage throttling, it could mean that a single cell has a higher voltage than the others and the pack requires balancing. As always, thank you for watching. If you have any ideas, comments or concerns, feel free to stick them in the comments and I will respond within 24 hours. If you haven't seen this channel before and you want to see more about the motor build and actual boat build, there's separate channels for that. And if you haven't subscribed, then feel free to do so, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.